Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. So it's been quite a while. Reason for that is that I've just started a new job. I'm working as a driving instructor, and the first 4 weeks I've ended up doing like 50 odd hour weeks because it's really difficult to figure out how to balance my life around my job. So I'm slowly getting there, and I'm hoping I'll be moving my PC to my actual house, because at the minute I'm having to visit my mum every time I want to use it, which doesn't help the frequency of uploads. But anyway, getting into it, I thought that since I was most familiar with the Mirage before I stopped playing for a month, that's where I'd start again. And the Apache just released, so it will come as no surprise whatsoever that immediately after taking off, there is one just sat there looking at me. And so thankfully I remembered my keybinds well enough to turn master arm on. I don't think the radar was warmed up yet, but I actually do manage to successfully murder this guy's face off. So that's probably the easiest kill I've ever got, ever. Thank you to that guy. I actually checked the TAC view, and he did attempt to fire a hellfire at me. It did not go very well for him, as you just saw. So yeah, moving on. At the minute we're on Blue Flag 80 server, and there were 2 friendly air bases left on the entire map, and every other thing was controlled by the other team. So things were not looking very good. It also seems that Razbam have decided to update aspects of the countermeasure system, including the RWR and the jammer, and then basically published nothing about it. So the RWR noises have changed, the symbology has changed-ish, and it seems that you now have an automatic jamming system, and I cannot really figure out the effectiveness of it yet, so more testing required. Hopefully I'll find a video done by someone who can read the French manual that will explain it for me better, but basically it seems that when you get locked, your RWR will flash with PCM in the middle, and as far as I can figure out, PCM is like your automatic jamming hardware, and otherwise it's more or less the same. Like a lock, being locked and being fired on shows the same RWR symbology with the little arrows pointing to the top and the bottom of the symbol that's launching on you, but the difference is now that there's a box around it as well. It seems that you can ignore the box. But anyway, so I've pushed basically deep into enemy territory. This is a Harrier, and I checked this in the TAC view, and this Harrier was actually chasing a friendly Viper, which is just off to the right of the screen. So we splash him, and then I attempt to find the Viper on radar and get a little bit sidetracked. He actually does appear briefly there to the left, and I roll too far. I think I noticed that a little bit too late. I fiddle a bit with my radar modes, and I'm thinking I'll try and get him with vertical scan. I was just fumbling with keybinds, and I looked behind me, and my time on Enigma's Cold War server served me well, and I managed to actually visually acquire him. So I'm pulling around now to get a lock, and because of the new sounds, I don't know what that beeping means, but I think it probably means that I'm either being locked or fired on. Managed to get a lock on the Viper. I'm down to magics only at this point, because earlier on my approach I managed to accidentally fire a Super 530 at one of the Hawk missiles that were fired at me. So I saved myself, but I wasted a missile. So maybe it wasn't a waste. I guess I saved myself, so it wasn't a waste. But yeah, so it looked like, or at least I thought, he was going to keep coming around to the right, and that missile would have smacked him, but he turned away, and the distance was just too much. Hawksight has fired on me now. That beeping is the RWR trying to tell me that I've been launched on. RWR is also telling me that I'm trying to auto-jam him. At least that's my assumption of what PCM means. I might be completely wrong. So I dip behind that mountain to break line of sight. I'm not sure if the radar just lags, or the RWR lags a little bit, or what, so I'm trying to get a view to my left to see if I can see the launch trail, but no joy, so I'm just going to keep going and keep my fingers crossed. Seems that the Hawk gave up, so I'm just going to close in and try and splash this Viper. As much as he turns, that just means I'm going to be able to close in more easily and use the fancy magic the slave to radar feature to relock him for some launch info and managed to just absolutely obliterate him. Magics are surprisingly nimble when you fire them at high aspect at targets that are close up. So skipping ahead, I can't remember how I died that last flight, but it was largely uneventful. I think I ran out of ordnances, was running away and just got unlucky and flew too close to a FARP and got hit by an IR like a stinger from a manpad or something. Pretty bullshit. So on the rollout here, just like before, look at that, another Apache. And if you see behind him right now, there's actually a Viper flying left to right. So everyone who's got the Apache has told me that its gun is absolutely dog shit trying to hit our targets, and it doesn't have air-to-air missiles. So I'm just going to basically ignore him for now. There's not much going on at that base that he can kill that he hasn't already. So I'm going to try and find this Viper, and on my RWR I can see that he is somewhere ahead of me, but my vertical scan just doesn't seem to be able to find him for some reason. So I'm flailing around. I probably should have been better off just using the B scope to find him with the usual radar symbology. And then I notice that he just disappears off my RWR. It seems that the RWR has been updated so that the range of the threat is actually present in the inner ring. So when it looks as if he gets very close to me and passes me. So I look behind me, and then it turns out that he's chasing me. So either he can turn on a dime, or I'm misunderstanding the new RWR. But we go straight into a one circle fight. I'm bleeding far too much speed off. But it seems that this guy doesn't have any missiles left, or maybe he didn't bring any, because I surely should have been dead several times by now. He takes a pot shot with his gun there, but misses. I will be checking the Viper out sooner or later because it has a flight model update, but it doesn't look like this guy knows how to fly it anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to count myself lucky from that one because I bled off far too much speed. And I was worried the entire time that one of those hawks in the distance was going to smack me, but it didn't. Got very lucky. And then just to round the video off, we're going to roll back around and kill that Apache that we saw earlier. We actually do get radar lock this time, and you know what, I think that I actually did better shooting him down earlier without the radar and just eyeballing it, because the radar pipper on this thing is abysmal, even after all the changes. And then after this I managed to go and get myself killed by a pair of F-15s that just absolutely double teamed me, and I wasn't familiar enough with the plane to be able to save myself. So this kill is the end of the video. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. Sorry it's been a while, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.